My name is Mark Miner. I am an investigative writer and author. In my travels, I've investigated many people and places. Watch as I seek out stories that are typically outside of the box of normal. I am the Seeker.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode. This one is called Social Zombies. This is probably the most controversial episode I've put together, but I wanted to come on this topic because it really does concern me and probably a lot of others. So, how many of you have heard of zombies? I'm sure we all have by the old horror movies and recent movies that we've watched. But let's talk about social zombies. And I say this title because of certain aspects that I think that are making us almost brain dead. If you want to be truthful, one of those is cell phone use. Now, I before cell phones were invented or they came out in mass production, I think a lot of us socialized more. We would say hi to our neighbors. We would even know our neighbors. We would socialize with each other in grocery stores, you know, out in the public, say hi, bye to each other. Even if we didn't even know each other, we were just polite. But with cell phone use being so rampant, it's like we're losing that within ourselves. We're losing that social acknowledgement. And I mean, how many of you have actually sat down to lunch or dinner with somebody and they were just staring at their cell phone? Where's the conversation? Where's the acknowledgement? Where's the awareness of being out in public? I think, a lot of that is gone. So I think, of course, we can't hold jobs nowadays without a smartphone because that's how we clock in, how we clock out. A lot of times we can't pay bills without a smartphone. It's dominating society, and it's causing socializing to die out, which is pretty sad. The other thing I want to talk about is, you know, mental awareness. Let's talk about mental awareness. So, mental awareness, I think with the pandemic that hit and they wanted us to stay to ourselves and not socialize as much, like when we were quarantined and when we had to keep 6 feet of distance. You only really talked about things with your family and close friends. And many people have lost friends, many people lost jobs. It became pretty bad. So we were internalized a lot. A lot of extroverts become introverts. A lot of people forgot about what it was like to actually socialize, and I think we're starting to break out of that a little bit. I see hope. So with that mental illness or mental awareness, with the quarantine and all that stuff, we are social creatures. That is what we are. So when you take that away from us, a lot of mental issues start popping up, like depression, anxiety, agoraphobia, agoraphobia, which is not wanting to leave the house, or people get nervous when approached by somebody, because they've gotten so used to it. And because we had to wear the mask, you know, people, now that there's no more mask mandates, at least in the state of Oregon, um, people still wear them. Not because so much they're scared, and I've had people tell me this, it's because they got so comfortable wearing them that they use it as like a blanket of comfort, of not having to show their face and be comfortable with that. So that's a little alarming to me. The other thing that leads from those mental issues is people can't deal with multiple problems at once, or they run from them. They can't hold jobs. A lot of people, have went to owning their own businesses at home, have went to a lot of home working, started their own businesses, period, because the whole thought of socializing within a workplace in a mass crowd, it just brings up anxiety levels. So they turn to prescription drugs. A lot of times when people have these mental issues, they go to professionals, medical professionals, whether they're psychologists or doctors, and automatically they're prescribed drugs right off the bat before they even talk about therapy, before, when I say they, I mean the psychologists and doctors, before therapy is approached, before, you know, groups, therapeutic groups are approached, automatically there's prescriptions given. And everybody seems to have some sort of mental issue nowadays. I haven't met one person, including myself, who hasn't had to deal with mental issues over current events or events that happened before the pandemic. And a lot of times you can deal with these issues when you talk to a therapist, because a therapist will give you tools to mentally work through things and learn to deal with those issues, or get over those issues eventually. But people don't want to do that. They want to fix that and band-aid it really fast with prescription drugs. And so what happens is the prescription drugs get abused. So Rochester, Minnesota researchers find that nearly 70% of Americans are on at least one prescription drug. More than half receive at least two prescriptions. This is reported by the CBS Atlanta affiliates. So among people aged 12 or older in 2020, 5.8% or 16.1 million people reported misusing prescription psychotherapeutic drugs in the past 12 months. I mean, it goes on. I can give you all these stats. So, but let's get a little more recent. In 2021, an estimated 4.4% of 12th graders reported misusing any prescription drug in the past 12 months. This is amongst 8th graders to 12th graders. It's just insane. So an estimated 1% of 12th graders reported misusing narcotics other than heroin in the past 12 months. In 2020, approximately 5,597 people died from an overdose involving antidepressants, because these were prescribed to these people that were dealing with mental issues. The source to this is the CDC Wonder database. So more than 84% of Americans had contact with a healthcare professional in 2016. Now that's before the pandemic. Now imagine what it was like after the pandemic. Placing doctors in a unique position to identify non-medical use of prescription drugs and take measures to prevent the escalation of patients' misuse to a substance use disorder. So they're recognizing that prescription drugs are being misused. Now, I don't have to lecture you on people stealing or using these prescription drugs on a street level, selling it to make money. Because one, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people just need the extra money. Our economy sucks. Like, the cost of living compared to the cost of the wages that we get are nowhere near equal. So everybody's struggling, and they're very hand to mouth. So this causes a lot of stress, and a lot of people turn towards these prescription drugs to handle it. So when it starts with prescription drugs, it leads to other things. So other things such as meth, heroin. I mean, I can go into the whole thing. There's a lot of street names for it. Even weed. A lot of people smoke weed to calm themselves, to get more sleep, because a lot of people are lacking sleep due to the stress. It just leads to a lot of drugs. In the state of Oregon, there was a law that was passed that states if you get caught with any kind of drug, such as oxycodone, meth, heroin, you know, we can go down the whole list. If you get caught with that by the police, you will be cited $100, $100 ticket. However, if you call the 1-800 hotline that leads you to a therapist and the such, then if you agree, or even if you don't agree to go into free therapy, then that citation will be dropped. All you have to do is talk to somebody on the phone and that citation will be dropped. So you get away with it. Also, look this up. President Biden put in a lot of money to start a program where you can go to safe zones. I know California does this. I know Oregon does this, where you can go to safe zones to get free crack pipes, clean crack pipes, or shoot up in a location with clean hypodermic needles in order to be safe. This is insane. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, give me all the comments you want, but this to me only encourages people to be on heavy drugs and not deal with their issues. And so we have all these people out there who are just walking around like zombies or tweaking out on the streets or causing issues with other people who are trying to mentally make it. You know, we're having a lot of shootings in our society right now, whether they're in schools or not. We just had the recent one in Texas. We had the one in New York that was recent. And people are not thinking clearly, that people are not recognizing that other people have mental issues. And so if they do and report that to mental health, individuals or professionals, those mental health professionals have their hands tied because the programs are being cut to help these people with mental issues. And we have to fix that. We really do. And I'm not even going to start on alcoholism because that of course seems old school to a lot of people, but it's still pretty rampant. So what do we do? How do we fix this? Something has to be done. I'm not telling you I have all the answers, but I'm telling you, between the cell phone use and not socializing with each other, between the abuse of prescription drugs and them just given out freely by medical professionals, and the addictions to heavy drugs, psychotropic drugs, even oxycodone, and all those other various drugs are causing our society to be in such a zombie-like state. And I believe this is very encouraged by the powers that be in government to keep us down, to keep us so focused on something where there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that people are not paying attention to, as far as our rights being taken away from us slowly but surely. I know a lot of people have the topics of our rights being taken away from us in your head right now as I'm talking. I know you do. As far as, the Roe versus Wade situation, to our guns being taken away because of the shootings. They're blaming it on the guns, not the people with the mental issues, which is ludicrous to me. It's just the society is falling. And for those of us, such as myself, who still have hope and who still go out and socialize with people, it's something that should be encouraged. We have that hope. We do. But I'm finding that very little people have that hope. And the reason why I'm able to say this is because I have 2 jobs. I work 2 jobs in order to make it. And in both jobs, I deal with society 110%. I talk to people all the time because I have to. That's part of my job. Part of my jobs, excuse me. So whether it's interviewing people or driving people around or talking to them about their medical history and their psychological issues, I have to do that. And I'm finding that 90%, I'm just throwing a number out there, 90% of those people are very inept. They don't know how to socialize. They get very stressed out and full of anxiety when they're approached by one person, let alone two or three or four, or even a group. So, anyways, I like to hear your comments on this. I like to hear how what you guys think about what you're noticing about this topic. And again, like I said, it was a very controversial episode. This is for me because I don't typically put my opinion out there like that. But I've been noticing it a lot and I wanted to kind of bring some awareness to it. Also, I would like to hear your comments on how you think we should fix this. What are some ideas? How can we go about making that change? Even, just us little people. Who can we talk to make those changes? So I'd like to hear your comments. I would love for you guys to hit the like button, of course, and subscribe. And let me know. Let me know what you think. So I want to thank you guys for joining in with me and kind of listening to my rant and raves. And remember to always stay weird. Be weird. Accept that weirdness is okay. Be yourself. Be proud of who you are. And recognize when you need help. There's nothing wrong with that. Going to a therapist is just as normal as going to a doctor when you need mental help or physical help. All right, guys. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.